Thinking about buying an investment property here in the East Bay? Well, here are the things that you should think about before you start shopping. Hey guys, Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Luxury International coming to you with another video. Today we're talking about investment properties. I am someone not only who sells residential real estate, single family homes and stuff, but I also own investment properties, so this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. So if you get some value out of this, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to continue to bring out weekly content on Fridays just like this, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, so here is the very first thing you need to think about. Every single time I talk to somebody who says, hey, I want to buy an investment property, I want to get a duplex, I want to get some cash flow, all that stuff, I say, hold on, wait a second, back up. Let's talk about your goals for a second, because an investment property means something different to everybody, and at the end of the day, that investment property needs to be able to serve your goals, serve your needs, and get you into a better situation than what you were in before. Otherwise, trust me, it's not worth it. So here's where I would always start that conversation. Number one, what are you looking to get out of this? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you trying to make another $500 a month in rent that it's passive, that you don't have to work for? Are you looking for a place to park money that is ultimately going to get a return over the next, 5, 10 years that would be better than what your alternatives look like? And you're going to factor in appreciation, depreciation, cash flow, all that sort of stuff as well. Or simply, are you looking for a place to live that might be able to serve you, for your housing needs, but also pay for itself in some capacity? Those are three completely different strategies, serve three completely different needs, and it's something you absolutely need to address. So if you're someone who's looking strictly at cash flow, you want money coming in every single month to supplement your income so you don't have to continue to work forever. That's great, but that's going to lead you in a different direction. For example, you're probably not going to be looking at anything that's single family. You're going to need multiple units to do that. And you're going to need multiple units at a discount, because at the Bay Area, and specifically the East Bay prices of today, it's going to be really challenging to pay full price, get a loan, and have that thing cash flow. So you're going to be looking for a fixer-upper, something you can add value to, get a discount on. As opposed to if you're looking to park some cash in a very safe investment that over time will appreciate and you'll get to collect some depreciation on your taxes and all that stuff, you may be willing to buy something that's a little bit closer to retail value. Maybe you're paying someone who already fixed it up. You just need some tenant in there to basically pay the mortgage and you don't need the cash flow, but you're going to get a better return than somewhere else. You might be looking at a totally different property. And then of course, if you're going to live in it, you have to love the location, it has to serve you, and then you have to be willing to have a rental situation that makes sense for you. So again, think about that before you even get started. The next thing you absolutely have to think about here if you're considering a rental property in the East Bay is rent control. Berkeley, Alameda, Oakland, they all have rent control ordinances, and they have varying degrees of strictness, of tenant leniency, of ways that you can potentially move someone out, eviction rules, compliance rules. They're all different, and you absolutely have to look into this before you get started. Now with that, there are a couple of things that are important to know. You should find out in the city you're looking in, what are the rules for eviction? If someone doesn't pay rent, what process do I have to follow? What is the timeline that I'm looking at? And then likewise, let's just say I get a tenant in that I've inherited. What would the process be like if I went to move them out because I wanted to move in, for example? Those are varying, they're a moving target. The laws are constantly changing on that, so it's something you absolutely need to do research on ahead of time before you go ahead and try and move someone out of a rental property. That being said, because it's complicated and because it is not very straightforward, you might find yourself a discount if you're willing to take on a tenant, especially if it's a tenant who's not paying market rent. arguably it's probably about a 10% swing between unoccupied rental properties to occupied ones. So that may be attractive enough for you to take on the headache and look at the long-term view of the property if you're willing to go down that road. And then lastly, you also need to know what the buyout clauses are on the various rental laws and rules in that city, because again, they are different. If you wanted to move in, or if you wanted to sell the property eventually and get your tenant out of there so you could be vacant, you're going to have to pay somebody some money to move, and the rules on that are all different. So make sure you check into that before you go shopping. Now that you know the goal you're trying to achieve and you understand the tenant laws and the rent control laws, again, super important. Now you can start thinking about your financing, because this is really critical. If you're not going to live in the property, you're going to have a higher down payment requirement than if you're potentially going to live in the property. And if you're going to live there, you might be able to get a low 3.5% to 5% down FHA loan, assuming the property qualifies for the conforming loan limits in the county, as opposed to a 25% down unowner occupied duplex, triplex, fourplex loan. Very different financing, very different underwriting standards, and absolutely something you have to go talk to a couple of lenders about. Most mortgage loan officers, banks, etc., focus primarily on single family property. So they are not going to be the most competitive or the most knowledgeable when it comes to multifamily or potentially having a fix-up loan or something like that. If you're looking for those types of people, shoot me a message. My contact is down below. I have a couple of really fantastic resources for you there if that's of value to you. But either way, make sure you go understand what the different products are out there that are available that will serve your situation, so that you can properly underwrite your holding cost, your operating costs, and all that good stuff. All right, so to recap this, number one, figure out what your goal is with the property. Number two, do your research on the rent control and tenant laws. Number three, explore financing. All three very critical, and I would argue do them in that order so that you can have ultimate success with your rental property. So hopefully you got some value out of that. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, if you think I missed something, drop me a comment or hit me up in the, shoot me an email or a text. My info's down below, and I'm happy to assist as needed. So without any further ado, this is Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Williams Luxury International, signing off for now. See you guys on the next one.